Okay, today we are talking about imposter syndrome. So this is something that I have struggled with a lot myself in my time as, well, basically my time. Ever since I was kind of like last year's of high school all the way to now, I've dealt with imposter syndrome for different reasons, whether that's, sports, whether that's school, whether that's work, individual contributor, leader. Like I've always felt like, hey, you didn't earn this. You don't belong here. You're not smart enough. You're not strong enough. You're not skilled enough. You've never done these things before. Why would they trust you with this? Like, how could you be here? There's a lot of things that go into that. There's a lot of nuance, and it's something that is, let me tell you, the number of people I've talked to, listened to, read about, this is pervasive. And honestly, it's part of life, and it's a reality that you just don't get away from. Like, I don't think there's a world where most people don't feel that, if not at every level, at most levels. Every level I'm at, I'm like, well, if I get to the next level, I'll feel good about this. And then I get to the next level, I'm like, I shouldn't be here. It's happened every time I've ever gotten a promotion. It's like, I don't deserve to be here. But the reality is you do. They don't just give titles out. They don't just give promotions out. Like, it's earned. You deserve it. And it's easy to say it. It feels weird for me even saying it right now. But ultimately, you do deserve it. You aren't just there by luck. You put in the work. The work was recognized. You've been effective. You've made impacts. All of those things are very, very important to your career development, to the company you work for, ability to grow and find success. All those things are important. All those things come together to get you a promotion. So it's all earned. It may not feel that way. And honestly, there's a level of humility that comes with it, that it creates, that I think is very important. I think there's a very important balance in what imposter syndrome does for you, if you can stay in a healthy space with it, is it creates this space where you are not good enough. And while that's not true, you are absolutely good enough to be where you are right now, because everything you've done to this moment has gotten you to this point. Feeling that way drives more change and more growth, in my opinion. So, while it's okay to feel good enough because you are good enough, it's also okay to question it, because everybody feels that. Everybody feels that I'm not sure I should be here, and that's okay. Because what that's gonna do is you're not gonna get there and be like, all right, cool, I'm here. I feel good about this. Like, nothing to worry about. Everything's good. I'm just gonna continue doing things the way I did before. And it's like, maybe that's good, maybe that's not. Your responsibilities as a manager are different than your responsibilities as a director, and as a director as a VP, and a VP as a CEO. It all evolves every time. So if you're not evolving with that, if you're a manager and now you're a director and you're still acting like a manager, that's probably not gonna look good. So you have to evolve to that role. So it's up to you to find that right balance. It's up to you to say, hey, this feels off. What am I going to do to make myself feel more comfortable? And usually, as you're starting to feel more comfortable in your role, that's when the promotion comes. Because if you feel comfortable in it, that means that you're starting to build those strengths that make you a candidate for the next level. And then you're there again, and it's like, oh crap, now I'm new again. Now what? How do I get past? Okay, I'm a director. I have leaders that lead leaders that lead leaders. What do I do? That lead people. Like, what do I do now? Like, what does my job entail? And people are going to say, like, so what changed now that you're a director? And you're like, I don't know. And that's something that, like, everybody feels as they continue to climb the corporate ladder. And I would say, in my experience to this point, like, the higher you get on the ladder, the more confusing it gets as to, like, what your actual, like, deliverable is, because it's much more fluid. And you're very much involved in the day-to-day of what the teams are doing, but you're not directly responsible for that specific team. You have people that are doing that. So it's fluid. And so I think the higher up you get, the more imposter syndrome you get. But it's important to kind of balance it out and understand that imposter syndrome is something you'll always deal with. And it's not super negative as long as you don't take it and turn it to something super negative. I think it can be a positive thing of just like, that means if I'm feeling uncomfortable, I just need to work at creating more comfort. You may never get there. Like, it's a reality that I've dealt with, is like, I've accepted the fact that I'll never get there. And I'm okay with that. It doesn't feel good at times. There's certainly times where it's just like, oh my God, Like, I don't know if I'm good enough to do this. And then you push through it and you work harder than you were if you felt like you were good. And eventually it works out. But the key is to just understand that everybody's dealing with it. And it's okay to deal with it. That doesn't make you less than. Everybody deals with it in their own way. So just embrace that it will be a part of your experience as you climb through your career. And utilize it to your abilities. Utilize it to strengthen your abilities in the moment. Hope this is helpful. If it was, please, like, subscribe, do all that stuff that helps, everybody, like YouTube and everybody, know that people like the content. I would appreciate it. And if you have questions or things you want me to cover, hit me up at jason@leadfromhere.co or any of the social media platforms we're on. I appreciate your time. Take care, everybody.